Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah,
Welcome back to the Rock Show with Connor Farrell. Today's
part
guest
two.
is Kobe. Kobe is
I'm
here
back.
today.
I'm back.
And cue intro song. 3, 2, go.
Peace, love, and rock and roll, brother. Peace, love, and rock and roll.
Okay, now you're back from the intro. We're gonna look into the camera and pose for and we're gonna count to 5, and then
Wait, how
3.
close should it go?
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
You give a bunch
Okay.
of them.
We've centered our chakra.
We are centered now. We are now
Woo!
here.
Yeah, it's funny. This is my camera, but I'm looking at you. I
That's
don't
okay.
care about my camera.
I don't know.
Just kidding. I'll sit right here.
I don't. You're in a different monitor than my camera, and so I'm
Oh, yeah?
kind of looking at the camera, but not really.
Yeah, no, I'm turning so that I can do the same thing where this is directly in front of me. That's where you are. That's where the camera is. Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of there. I don't know. I feel like looking into the camera during a podcast is weird. I don't want to be spoken to.
It is weird. You know what? Yeah.
I want to be spoken with. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
why I like podcasts. I like feeling like I'm in a conversation when I'm listening.
It's good.
Yeah.
No, it is good though.
Oh.
I'm an avid. I literally. You look at what do I do all day when I'm doing anything? I'm like podcast.
Yeah,
Picked up.
for sure. Literally, me too.
Like AirPod. Or if I'm really
I drive
amped
a
up.
lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I drive a lot. So podcasts on all the time. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music. Actually, hot take.
Same.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of
also,
weird.
if you give yourself time away from music, oh my god.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
but
when
it's
I,
also
take
because
time.
I when you I can't listen to music idly anymore. I'm always listening to music.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you put it on in the background and then you sip into oh, how good is this? Then you're just jamming along,
True.
dancing. If you get up and dance and sing the words and just yell, that's how I can kind of get really back into it.
Yeah,
That's how I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out of doing, because I'm a part of the music. I'm having fun
Yeah.
instead
Yeah,
of
for sure.
sitting there
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't mean I was I'm always analyzing music. I'm actually glad about that.
yeah.
Oh, I just burped really bad. Because I know people who are when I took that music theory class, I can't stop analyzing these changes, and I'm luckily
Oh,
I don't
got
have
it.
that curse. I can't I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't do that. I just oh, that was cool. I don't know what that was, but it was cool.
Yeah, well, even then, the thing you should realize, I would say, is the trick is getting lost.
Yeah.
It's have good taste. What sounds good to you. What's a good riff? What's a bad riff? What do you like hearing? What's catchy? Oh, this is it. Outside of whatever format you have for a song, this is my thesis: is you just write something really catchy, whatever it is, guitar with vocals, bass with vocals, right? Bass with guitar. You write something, or bass with a rhythm. You write something really catchy, and now repeat that. Do that same thing 3 or 4 more times. Come up with 4 more catchy things that are undeniably good, and put them together. And if they don't work, swap things out until you get a collection of 3 to 4 that are really catchy on their own, that are really good together.
Mhm.
Now you have a song.
Yeah, for
Doesn't
sure.
matter what genre.
I used to be really not good at writing melody,
Really.
and I think it was
What
just
do you
'cause
mean? What do you mean you weren't good at writing melody?
I was just things wouldn't be melodic when I play them or write them. But I think it's just because I was thinking too hard, and you just gotta listen to your ear
Yeah.
and just play things that appeal to you. But I was just I was just trying to write something cool. But when you try to write something cool, you know that thing where you're being way too cerebral about it. You just gotta play what you feel.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because I've got the point now, but I know I know what stuff on guitar. It's really obvious. What's the money stuff and what's the I'm being self-indulgent. I love Queens of the Stone Age, the band, and their first record. You're guys, this is all for you. None of this is for the crowd. This is horribly selfish, and it's not nearly the coolest stuff you can play, but I love it as a musician who likes to sit there on guitar and do the same thing and pretend I'm writing some massive ballad that's amazing. It's no.
Yeah.
I'm it's the ultimate when they go when they say wanking about a guitar solo that has
Yeah.
nothing catchy to it. It's just fast.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's kind of funny too because I'm like I can do like riff wanking.
Yeah,
You're like this is bad.
Corey Wong has this thing that
Oh
he
yeah.
calls overt chops and covert chops. So like the covert
Mm.
stuff is like the cool stuff that you like don't even realize.
Yeah, like we were saying, like how soft or hard you're playing something.
Yeah.
And on guitar in particular, especially, that's the trick. Like we kind of talked about, is Eddie Van Halen is a really good example because people recognize that he's a master of
Hmm.
guitar. And so if I say I'm doing something, not because I saw Van Halen do it, but I learned after the fact he did it. Now it's got credibility. Okay, so it's he runs a full loud gainy amp and then he just turns down the volume to like 4 or 5, so where if he plucks or hits softly it's a clean tone. If
Yeah.
he on certain hits too hard, it becomes distorted, and there's the in between spot. And so that kind of like keeping him on the edge is like, you know, edging. You're on the edge.
Yeah.
No, I
EVH the
uh,
master edger.
yes, V Halen, the master edger.
He's
No,
my
it's a
favorite
really
guitarist, by the way. For the record, he's my favorite
oh
guitarist all time.
holy shoot! But it's the thing though is like once you get it to the level where it's not binary, like either I'm loud or I'm quiet.
Hmm.
Once you get it in that middle, you can do whatever you want. Like good example is "Stranglehold" by Ted Nugent. That riff,
Stranglehold.
it goes down and down 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 down, and when it starts with just the guitar, and so you don't have the rhythm, except you do with Ted lifting his fingers up and down on the fretting hand with rhythm and hitting things, but also he keeps it like perfectly in that middle between where it's going to distort using the volume knob. It's like, and so once you learn how to do that thing, you're like, oh, I'm incredible at this instrument because I know the covert thing. You're
Yeah,
like, and
yeah,
I can make any melody sound good because I'm
yeah.
good. Like, there's a difference. You're like, oh shoot, you can't mess with me. Like, this is kind of scary once you realize what you've become. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this sounds really good.
It's like when you
You're
have
like,
that different relationship with those instruments. Like
yeah,
when you notice like this instrument bottoms out, like when you hit it harder more than this other one, like
it doesn't sound as
specifically
good.
like Fender
Like,
basses, right? When you dig
mhm.
into them, they like burp or like fart. I don't know how
Oh
else to
yeah.
describe it. But like other basses don't do that. Like my active basses don't do that.
Mhm.
Like they just like get louder and they
There's
fart
no, like,
less. But like Fender basses, there's like a threshold. You don't want to hit too hard. But yeah, once you get those kind of dynamics with your instrument, you do feel unstoppable. You're right.
it's why. Oh, and I'll tell you, for me, it's realizing I love, I love guitar in C standard.
Oh,
You put the
okay.
guitar into C standard with a pair of nines on because I like playing in E standard with sevens. It's super thin, but
Damn.
oh my god, with that combined with the volume thing,
Uh-huh.
put distortion on, and then so I can control when it's distorting on that border, right? Put a little bit of chorus on, maybe some delay or reverb, and then just I can turn that down. It can make it sound like a fuzz,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I love being in C standard because I can do like I mean, I can kind of like I can get tones that are anywhere from normal guitar tones, right? But I can also get like kind of more like metal type stuff, but like Black Sabbath. I can get Black Sabbath guitar tones and all the other ones, right? And even then it's the same thing. It's like turn down the volume pot and the like distortion and just ride the line.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's
I
cool.
guess if you figured out any things that are kind of like maybe not your signature sound, but like stuff you're like, oh, I love doing that. Like for me, it's like I said, C standard, distortion, chorus. I make it
Yeah.
sound amazing.
So
It can't sound bad.
my thing, I don't know. I play in so many different settings that I
Yeah.
just play so much different sounds. So like what I feel like my sound is like P
Yeah.
bass flat wounds, just
Mm.
mid scooped, vintage sounding. So right now this bass is like my main bass. I mean, all of them are my main basses, but this one is like
Dude,
me.
same.
This is like the Kobe bass, right?
Yeah.
And so it's 2 single coils and a split coil. And usually I either have just the P bass pickup on, or all five or all three, and so I have like jazz bass and P bass sound, and it gives it like sometimes the P bass is like too mid scooped, so I need the single coils to give it a little bit more
Mhm.
like sizzle, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's not like sizzle because it's flat wound. These strings are super super dark. I've had them for like a year now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The basis be like,
but
haven't
yeah,
changed it in 12 years.
well, these strings fucking expensive. They're like $60 a set.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but I
Yeah.
like how it sounds.
I mean, guitar strings, it's crazy. It's like $12 a set. Like I go on Amazon, buy like 3 strings, it's like $40. I'm like, Bezos, have them run a little faster. Let's get this cheaper. Okay? Like
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
can't if you're gonna violate human rights, at least make it a deal.
How often
I
do you change
should
your strings?
Oh, you're supposed to like once a month. And then that's the real thing is like for me, that's why I'm like, if I can figure a way to do the music stuff full time, first off, I can eventually do the Ryan Reynolds thing, like, and then I don't have to take gall from anyone who tells me you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about with business or whatever. Because I was like working jobs and stuff, and people would just like, "You're 21, so I'm not going to take your advice seriously." I'm like, it's I'm citing the sources of like Warren Buffett and all of these like people and Elon Musk and all these people. I'm giving you the exact thing they're saying. I'm giving you the textbooks. I'm giving you the Harvard Business Review, the top 100 companies. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm right on these things. I'm like saying you should look at them and consider them and then say, what would that look like? And is there a way for me to try that out with my company without running it into the ground that I could just try it and see if it works? And then,
Clout,
oh,
man.
look, I can triple the amount of money I make it for the company. Like, but no, they're like, oh, you're 21, so I'm not going to listen to you.
It's
And I'm like,
clout. You're
have
the key.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're not getting invited to your, to someone's party, it's like start your own.
Yeah, nice. I
Oh
believe in
yeah.
it. I believe in your mission.
Oh yeah. I'm so feisty. See, Kobe, I'm so happy to talk to you because you're like so lovable. And I'm like, right now, I'm just like, I'm still in my,
Thanks.
my anger.
Thanks.
Like,
You make me
I feel like
blush.
I know, and I don't like being angsty, but I'm so passionate that
No,
like,
that's good. You're a
I just,
Slytherin, huh?
I think I am. I
Yeah, you
think I
might be.
am.
You
I
might be.
woke up this morning. If you see the podcast I posted today, it just starts with "I'm really angry." I'm just like I chose violence. It's so funny because now I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I almost cringed when I looked at it. I was like, bro. I'm like, no, dude. Like now you're chill. But
Well,
you
I
don't
mean,
want to. You
nothing.
don't want to. Yeah,
Nothing gets done if you're not fired up about it. So get fired up.
yeah. I literally okay. So I built like I have a Discord, and that's like kind of one of the things is like I made a Discord with basically musicians, so I can be like, these are the shorts that I'm posting. Here's the ones that are doing well. What do you guys do? Right? Oh, you're a producer. Okay. Do you want to work with my band? We're doing this. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm making a Discord for like people to like find each other and network and like find other people who are like doing what we're doing, like
Sweet.
social media stuff. And then people with podcasts, if you want to come on and promote something, or like if you are starting your own podcast, then you want like advice from other people,
Yeah,
or to
cool.
have them
Yeah, slide
like
that invite.
put you on the map. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
I'll
let
join
me.
that for sure.
Let
You
me.
don't have to do it right now. We can do it after the
No
pod.
link in
But
bio.
I'll
Actually, let
link
me
in
do it.
bio.
No, there's nothing better than talking on a podcast with your. Oh my god, dude, my shoulder.
Talking. Yeah.
Talking. Welcome to Talkcast with Connor and Cobe.
This is the podcast where people talk.
This is the podcast. What link did Instagram send you? Oh,
We
it
are
sent you the right link. Okay,
we are
great.
talking.
Go on, man.
Sorry,
Talking.
your shoulder? What's up with your shoulder?
Oh yeah, no, dude. I need to be getting my TikTok rockstar influencer vibe, and then I'll calm down, and then I'll be happy, and then I'll relax. Because I like try and like lay down and watch TV, and it's like I just sit there and I'm
Yeah,
like,
you got to
this is
do
all
something.
stupid. I'm like, I hate all of these people who aren't real because all my thoughts and reactions are like, I should be doing the podcast, I should be doing TikToks. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
because
so
it's all
real.
volume. And then also, like, I'm literally so this is what happened. I saw these inspirational. I'm going to tell you two things I'm doing, and I'll see
Okay.
what you think about it. One of them is these like inspirational edits where it'll be like Quentin Tarantino or Mark Zuckerberg or like someone talking about what they did, right? or like Tyler the Creator, or literally like musicians too, and like all these people, and but they're just good. And I was like, oh, and they got really, really like fired up, and we're like, we are so back type of energy instead of me being like grr. And I was like, oh, and a lot of it was like about being an artist and creating and putting stuff out, and like I was like, this is really good for me. And so especially if like a lot of my audience is going to be other musicians creating and like doing stuff, or just fans, because fans want to see on the inside, like they want to know like how are you doing what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And there's like 8,000 of these profiles with these really good edits, and they all have like probably like 300 posts each that have over 1 million views. You're like, wait a minute. I could take that reel, I could post it, and then say credit at that account, give my analysis, because most of them are reposting other
Yeah.
things with the at credit. So you literally just do the same thing. You're like, oh, wait, you can do it, and your faceless, nameless account. You're like, let me do it as a real human person that's actually building a relationship with people. And so then also, the second thing is doing my buddy LJ. I love my buddy LJ. He went to New York.
That's your project. You're doing your buddy LJ.
I'm doing my buddy LJ. No, but so he basically he's super like he gets super in the whole marketing world, and he's getting a job in marketing. But it's all like TikTok influencer, and he like studies all of that stuff, and he's like super like I didn't know any of the people he named. You know what I mean? Like he would be like, he's like, really? They have like 400 million followers. They're the biggest creators on the planet. I'm like, I'm so out of popular culture. Like, and I feel like if like, I'll put it this way. Tell me what you think about this. I feel like there might be like, let's call it 8 different cultures, kind of like broadly speaking, like let's say in America right now in the youth. And like one of them, if like here's what it is. If there's 10 million people, we'll just give it, or whatever, call it 10 million young people and 8 cultures. One of them might have 3 million and all the others have 1 million, but there's like no overlap. And so even though he's like, this is the biggest thing, I'm like, no, it's big, but it's totally siloed. I've never heard of any of these people. And like, do you ever like bust into the rock? Like, it was crazy. I saw he was like screen sharing stuff. I'm like, oh, you're on the girl side of TikTok. Like, he just watches like women's podcasts with like, yeah, so I was like shopping today. Cool. And you're like 5 billion followers, like this chick and all of these. And you're like, oh, these are the big people. And you go like, wait a minute, like, I've never heard of any of these people. I've never seen anything from them. And then like same with like country music, because then like Theo Vaughn or like another comedian will have on country people. And I'm like, I've never heard of Jelly Roll. And now I know him because like he's friends with comedians. And I'm like, oh, that's happening here too. Because rock music is 48% of Americans' top genre. Like if they can listen to one thing. And so that's the kind of thing. It's like, and I would say it's probably similar with like, there's a similar dynamic going on with like anything that used to depend on a record label. There's the fan base, all the kids who grew up listening it from their parents and liking those bands, but they don't have a new version that's being successful and that they can find.
Yeah.
They don't know, oh, I can listen to The Rock Show with Connor Farrell, and I'm going to get to hear about all the cool new rock bands, the ones that are medium level, the ones that are just starting, and the ones that have already blown up. But it's like, oh, if I build a platform where I can have on 5 days out of the week, I have Dave Grohl, I have Stevie Wonder, I have on Ozzy Osbourne, I have on, and then 2 days a week, I have unknown people, and I have them on every single week for 3 months. You know what I mean?
For
Slowly
sure.
help them build up their audience, give them connections. What if Ozzy Osbourne likes that person, right? Have Ozzy go on their podcast, right? Like you start to build up that momentum, and now people have a place they can go and check stuff out. I think it's going to happen. I think it's inevitable it's going to happen, but I think rock is 12 years behind comedy because that's what happened with comedy. There's so many comedians where I'm like, this guy is not that funny, but I like his podcast.
Yeah,
I don't
comedy is
think I'd ever
booming
watch
for sure.
And I think rock, I think anything with a band is like 5, 6, 7, 8 years behind. But I think all it takes is being able to network up to some of the comedians and some of the people who already have those audiences who are trained. Because I watched so much of them, I realized I'm like, oh, there's a comedian Joe List, and he loves Elvis Costello, and he loves all these bands that I like. He loves Pearl Jam. I'm like, oh, this other comedian loves all these bands, and they're super big fans. I'm like, I just have to like let them know, hey, you know, you could come on my podcast, or I could come on your podcast, and rock would be back. And you introduce me to your friends who like it, and so I've got all these people with millions and millions of followers we get millions of views on like 30 episodes in a row. I'm able to bring on bands that are way better than me. You know what I mean? But that are already like have momentum and are going. And then we really light a candle on this. They go on your friends' shows. We bring up all these other people. Before you know it, rocks and just music with bands, I guess is the way I'd put it. But like band music is back. But I think that's the problem with band music is it never was I'm just one person doing it. It always was we're a group of people doing it, and now it needs to start kind of with like one person, or just I guess the group of people you're working with every day is not necessarily the people who you're recording with. It's the people who you're going to be building an audience with and a community between your different accounts. Because that's how do you promote your song? You need to go on a platform where people who don't know you can hear it.
Yeah.
Who don't know what you've been up to, or only see you once every 2 months when you come on the podcast with them, right? Like,
I think it's just what.
what do you
Okay,
think?
sorry, I'm going backwards a little bit for
Go
the
backwards.
like
Take me.
the rock is dead thing. I think rock is still alive. It's just that popular culture now, because of social media, is so fragmented.
Yeah.
Like back then, it was popular culture. When I say back then, it's like pre-social media and all that. I feel
20
like it
years
was
ago, 30.
popular culture, and then this like subsets, like the little niches,
Yeah.
stayed in their niches. I mean, I guess that's kind of how it is now still, but now there's so much exposure to literally everything that
Yeah.
like I don't know where I was going with this.
No, let me give you a thing that maybe you might have been thinking. It could be that like now the barrier. It used to be before like, oh, if I'm goth and I like country, like you're not going to get me to like the other one. But now it could be as simple as the big country star Jelly Roll has on the big goth chick, and now you've got goth country couples coming to both of the shows, and
Yeah.
like what? Like,
Yeah.
but I think that like I could literally see that being a thing tomorrow if that happened, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe it's the idea that like they're still siloed, but now it's like you can just dip and you can mix the paint colors, and now all the buckets are like red and green and
But
purple.
I think that makes it harder for popular culture, like a what's the uniculture to like
Monoculture,
monoculture, yeah,
monoculture.
to exist because and rock was a part of the monocultural culture at one
It
point.
was. I think comedy in the form of sitcoms was, but then sitcoms kind of died like a little bit before rock labels died. And so that's where I think all the comedians who are chasing sitcoms, it used to be like only one person gets a sitcom, only one person gets the record deal. But then it flipped into the better your podcast does, the better my podcast does, the better your TikToks do, the better my TikToks do.
Yeah. Okay,
the better your song
I
is.
get where you're going
And
at
so
now.
now you've got hundreds of thousands of people working together, and it gets exponential for
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So, but I think that's the thing too, is now comedy isn't a monoculture, because that's the thing is there's this chick apparently Hannah Berner or something, and I saw like she's on Netflix, got the #1 special, and she was on like a reality TV show, and she became the biggest female podcaster, and she became a comedian. She married a comedian, and I'm like, I'm into like comedy podcast,
Yeah.
and I've never heard of her
Never
or
heard of
her
her either.
husband.
Yeah, no. Wow.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, like this is like. And so I think that's the thing is like even in subsets, like I think the comedians that rock people know in their subculture is like going to be the different famous comedians. Like everyone's famous, but to completely different groups of people and to completely different kind of like.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you? What
Yeah,
do you think
that's
on
so
that, like?
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, because you're talking about like building the culture as a whole, and then that brings up everybody else in the culture. But when I think about like the big people that I have found, or like I don't discover people in that way that you're talking about, but I get how that works. I just don't know from like the viewer standpoint
Yeah.
how that works.
I do
But it
find
makes sense.
I guess have you ever seen a guest on like Tiny Meat Gang where you're like, oh, I want to watch their other stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's that.
That's true. You're right.
The only reason I watch Tiny Meat Gang is there's a guy, Derek, more plates, more dates here.
Oh,
who
yeah, that
who's
guy.
yeah, and he was on and he did a video like after that I clicked. I don't even watch all of his videos, but he said, "Oh, you went on Tiny Meat Gang? Those guys are awesome." Or he said in a different podcast.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I was like,
yeah.
"Let me go watch that." And so then I watched his episode. I watched maybe one more. And then you get swept away in the water
That's
like
true.
friggin' Nemo from his mom. Uh,
Yeah, that exists. You're right. I
but
just
no, I was
couldn't
gonna
think of
say,
examples.
that's just no, dude. It's because that's the thing is like, let's say I get like Bert Kreischer and Theo Vaughn, these people who have like 3 million followers, 100, 200, 300, 400,000 listens per episode. Like, you're like, oh, wait, so I could blow up this show. And then who's the first person who I have on and connect them to the other people? Hint, it's you. It's you.
Yeah,
It's anyone I've ever had on and who I like.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
All
Like,
those Theo Vaughn viewers. Yep.
but that's the thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't think
Yeah,
there's 100,000 Theo Vaughn viewers who would love whatever song you're putting out
for sure.
and
Yeah,
would
yeah,
follow
yeah.
you and see whatever reels you come up with and whatever little riffs, and then they go, wait, turn that espresso but with a different bass line, do that a whole song. Do a
Mhm.
whole thing of that. That thing's incredible. Do a whole thing of that. Dude, you're set. You're set. Now you can put anyone
Yeah.
on the map too. Like
For
it's
sure.
just because that's
Yeah.
something I listen to plenty of Joe Rogan, and it's interesting because he talks about the magic that LA had was you had the comedians hanging out with rock stars, hanging out with actors, and none of them were in either of the circles, but they all kind of, and then you had this, their artists inspired each other, and they kept each other fresh, and so Austin, Texas is now like it's got a music scene and it's got a big comedy scene. It's probably the dominant comedy scene outside of like maybe New York, arguably. But I'm just kind of like, you throw in musicians. I think you throw in like big musicians, and I think you throw in maybe one other thing instead of actors. Maybe it is actors, right? Or maybe it's just like, I guess YouTubers or podcasters or influencers or something. But you throw them in there, and then I think, boom, I think you get a cultural soup because then it's the actor. Oh my God, do you see Johnny Depp was at their show? Or like it's, oh, do you see
Mhm.
friggin' Steve Rogers? Chris Evans was at the Black Licorice show. You're like, shut up. And so you've got paparazzi photos of us hanging out with Chris Evans and a bunch of supermodels who are like Instagram like influencers who want to get their following up.
Yeah.
Like at the backstage photos, and that's what you're putting out. It's like, okay, that's your guest Theo this week. I see why. Actually, holy shoot, his band is friggin' incredible. Oh my God. And you're like, this guy's the man. How have I never heard of him? That was like, so that's the kind of thing. It's like, I think once that happens, there's no going back. There's no, because that's the thing too, is like, then it becomes global.
Yeah,
becomes global.
it goes back to the clout that you're talking about. Just unlocking everything is just the clout is universal.
Clout.
The comedians, the rock stars, and all that. Even sports. I see.
Ooh,
Do you
that might
follow?
be it.
Do you follow the Rolling Stones Instagram?
No.
It pisses me off. Rolling Stones, the like the newspaper.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Bro, I don't think I've seen them
so
post
ass.
a single thing I enjoy.
Yeah, dude, it's so ass. It's just, but I think that's the thing about
You'd wager to call it mid?
it's so mid. It's just like it is the clout though. It's just they're trying to post whoever has the clout.
Oh God. Yeah, I
I hate it.
hate it. I hate it. It's so crazy.
But I mean, it's what we're talking about. It's okay. You also talked to me about like what
Yeah.
my relationship with social media was.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love social media as a consumer. I love
Yeah.
it. As a creator, I mean, I don't love it. I just it's not I like making like that tequila video that I made for my friend. That was just so fun. And I just like doing shit like that. I don't like
Yeah.
making content for the sake of growing or the sake of making content.
Mhm.
And the stuff like the new summer hit is my song. Come listen to it. I hate that shit so much. I don't like I like using my social media to personify me, and like if you go to one of my shows or meet me in person, this is what I'm like, or like this
Yeah.
is the skills I have. But I don't like making content just to make content,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't like this monoculture, or the lack of the monoculture, because
Mm,
if I were to just do my thing, which is playing music, and if the value isn't in my followers, the value is in what I do. And back then I could just do what I did and
yeah.
make it, but now I have to do
But
it
you had
in
to. But
on
so
social media.
where would you do it back then? Because someone would eventually have to see it, like an audience member, like people are watching. Like, how do people get to actually enjoy what you do?
I think I see myself as a modern session guy, like with that's
Mm.
not a recording session guy. Like I've been doing a lot of like theater stuff lately,
Oh,
which has always actually existed for a long time, but because of my resources, I can do it on a bigger level. Like I can play in a metal band, I could play on a
yeah,
jazz session, I could do all that stuff. Um, but when I get calls for something, like
yeah.
it is through my Instagram. They're like, "Oh, I know this guy. I met him." And instead of giving somebody a business card, my Instagram is
You
pretty
give
much
them
my
the
business
Instagram.
card.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my modern business
It's
card, and
also
I
your
don't.
dating profile. No, but I'm not kidding. It's insane, but it is true.
Yeah,
I
that
literally
is true.
I forgot. Here's the thing. I started posting on TikTok again and started getting some engagement again. Last time I did that was 2 years ago. I forgot that like you'd have 15-year-old girls being like, "You're so hot, I want you." You're like, if you feel like you're like the Beatles playing the first time, and like you get
That's
screaming, you're like,
funny.
"This is illegal." You're like, "Thanks, I love being alive." Like you want to comment and reply so you get engagement, but you're like
Yeah.
also like, "I'm not, no thanks." Um, but then you'll get all sorts of like girls and like people, and you're just like, I'm the same guy outside when I'm like just doing stuff or like at school or things, and no one, like. But then the instant you're online, you're like an imaginary person.
Imaginary person for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's funny.
I want to sleep with an imaginary person. But that's the crazy thing. Yeah, your Instagram becomes your business card. It becomes your dating profile. It becomes, I guess, like I'm trying to think of other things, but that's I think Instagram's the number one dating app in the world. I think by statistics, if you look at people
Yeah,
actually getting
probably.
dates, because I've been on Tinder, I'm on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, no play, and like you'll talk to probably like 1,000 matches, and you probably have to swipe on 100,000 to get 1,000 matches, and then like
Damn.
10 of them you might go out with out of the 1,000 you talk to, right? I mean, but then it's guaranteed to get laid. That's what I found. If a chick's willing to like, let's meet up, off of, because like chicks are like they don't want to meet up off of like the app, and like that's the funny thing is like the romance is, oh, he just was attractive, and then I found him and I got him. He was a deal. So if they see, oh, 60,000 followers on Instagram, oh, he's got management, oh, he's touring, they're like, oh, he's a catch. I need to get him. Like they
Mm,
want you to be like a prize in certain, like it's
wow.
psychological,
Yeah, yeah,
evolutionarily,
yeah.
but like the guy who's
Weird.
like needy, who's going out of his way to be like, women, look at me, please. I'm going on the app to get looked at. It's like, oh, but with Instagram, it's like, no, I'm just here. I just happen to be here. I just happen to be
I'm just
here.
here. It's like a bar.
Sorry, what's
I'm just
happening?
here.
Sorry. Do you want to see the 1 to 1.6 waist to shoulder width ratio, the golden ratio? Wait, I didn't read any evolutionary psychology papers on this to identify what would be the optimal attraction
Sorry,
for
my mom just
symmetry.
walked in the
No,
room. As you're
no.
talking about the Instagram dating. That's funny though. I've been in a relationship since high school, so I don't know about dating apps or anything.
Dude, good.
Good, good.
At least
Yeah,
one relationship at a time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. One for sure.
No, I know,
That sounded like I was cheating. No, it's one.
Uh, Is she in the room with us right now, Kobe? No.
No, she's not. Because I just got COVID and I gotta wash my sheets. Actually,
Oh, dude, you gotta wash them.
yeah, I gotta wash
Dry
my
them.
sheets. I got no drying, just washing them, so I can wash my clothes with it. I
It's a
just sit in it and
nice
soak
day
it.
for a bedwetting. You ever
Is that
hear
an
that
original?
song? No, is this great artist Billy Idol.
Oh,
And
I
it
know
goes
that
dun
song.
dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun 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 dun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a white wedding. Bedwetting. There you go.
Yeah. I
Woo!
got it now.
Two mattresses get married. Bedwetting. Ooh. My hair's getting
I had to
blonde.
teach that song recently.
You
White
had to
Wedding.
teach that?
You know, speaking of lyrics and me
Oh.
not realizing that you were singing White Wedding, uh, I can't listen to. Oh, okay. I've been getting better in the last few years, but like I'm not a lyric guy. I can't tell you the lyrics to my favorite song of all time.
Oh.
Like it's just weird.
What song?
Kid Charlemagne.
Wait, no, that's totally wrong. Oh my god.
That's Sir Duke. Kid Charlemagne. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sing Kid Charlemagne, but
How does
it's
it
Steely Dan.
Bro, I know it's Steely Dan. I refuse to listen to Steely
Uh,
Dan, not because I have
what?
just because like I know I should know it and I know everything about it and I've seen every Rick Beato interview with every single session player on every Steely Dan track. I could give you the history of every song. I don't think I've heard I think I probably saw my brother play Kid Charlemagne 1,000 times.
Mm.
So sing it. Sing it. Let's see if I get it.
Uh,
Dance monkey.
That's the main melody. I can honestly, yeah, that one. Kid
No.
Charlemagne. Yep, that's
Kid
that one.
Charlemagne.
Yep. Kid Char. Yep. Kid Charlemagne. Okay, wait.
You don't know that part? You don't know the
No,
horn part?
I do know that part, but
Then hum it.
okay. Got it.
Music is a song.
Yep.
I have no clue. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
either.
gonna mumble
I
it.
played that so many times, but I don't even know
Dude,
it.
my brother I know. Bassists are like, wait a minute, horn part?
I can play the horn part, man.
No, I
Wait.
know, but same with my brother. It's the best. It's so good. I love it.
I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say.
You don't know the words to Kid Charlemagne.
I don't know the way to Good Charlemagne.
You don't know the words to Charlemagne Lava Girl. You don't know the lyrics to songs.
Nope, I don't.
Tiny Meat Gang. Who says I have meat? I might
don't
only
know.
have dairy in the house right now.
Minuscule meat gang.
The way I be stacking this cheddar. Milk me, baby. What? Oh.
Facts. Is that a lyric?
Milk me the way I stack this cheddar.
Oh! Did it? Yeah, facts.
Your music, milk me.
Yeah, I'm getting a little stir crazy right now. This energy.
Stevie, milk me.
Still be
Milk me wonder.
Milk me wonder.
Oh, kid, milk my
okay.
mane. Ooh.
Kid. No, okay, no, we're not gonna kid milk mane.
Kid milk. No. Guys, it's not that bad. Kid milk is obtained like Soylent Green. You squish them down into a pulp, and then you drink it. It's kid milk.
It's like
My name
almond
is
milk, but kid.
Rock. Almond milk. Correct.
Almond milk. Yep.
How do you milk the almond? Wait,
by
ask the other guy.
squeezing the peanut out of the almond. Have you seen that
I
clip?
got kicked in the peanuts. I'm squirting almonds. Ooh.
Ew.
Coconut
Ew.
milk me.
Coconut milk you. I like coconut milk. What's the difference between coconut milk and coconut water? Those are different things, right?
Same thing.
No, wait, no. Coconut water's the thing that's like inside of it, but then coconut milk is like pureed bits, I think.
Really?
I think. Because coconut water is clear and coconut milk isn't.
Huh.
Damn.
Whatever one is that one I've had, I don't like it.
Hmm. I don't know. I was gonna say something, and this COVID brain is not very nice to me.
Oh shoot.
Uh, so what projects musically you got going on right now besides Black Licorice? Is it just all that?
Oh, the project we're working on is podcast.
Sick.
Dude,
Where
yeah,
I'm here, I'm
we're
in it.
working on blowing up on the internet. So here's the second thing I'm doing. So the first one is reposting the inspirational stuff. Second one, LJ's buddy. She has 166,000 followers on TikTok.
Damn.
Do you know what the only thing she posts is?
Food.
Nope, it's a video where she goes, "Song that's a crime that you don't know, part 343." And then it cuts to like a chill, like pop, like cool, like chill thing. And so
Sick.
I'm like now batch making. I have parts 400 through 500. I have
Damn.
all of, and so now the problem is like I would make them with the audio, and then TikTok would be like, "That's copyright, no audio." I'm like, what if I take off the Nirvana song? With the lights out. Also, because that's the thing too, is because we got the sideload cultures, I literally go immigrant song, smells like Team Spirit, Back in Black, Highway to Hell. Like I'm like American
Yeah.
Idiot. I'm like, it's the final countdown. And then I literally, but the problem is I'm doing these. And also, you may have noticed, why did I start at 400?
Because people are gonna go back. I don't know.
By the time you're at 520, how far is anyone going to scroll back?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's
But you know
fair.
what people are going to think? Holy cow. He's done 700 of these? No. No, I've done
Nah.
3.
Done 3.
Woo!
I've done 5 days of video. That's it.
That's the urge too, is like, do I really like, because I'm like, no, I could genuinely like schedule like 10 a day of these. And so instead of like having 2 months worth from 50 or 100 of them, doing 2 a day, I'm like, what if I do 5 a day? And then I run out in like 20 do you're like, do I grow faster? Because you're like, I'm not saving this content. Like once I get the audience, like I can slow down on how much I'm posting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to maintain it. And then really it's going to come down to like in person, like, oh, I'm in Austin. Oh, look, here are these famous comedians. Oh, we happen to be doing a podcast. 300,000 views. Now the podcast goes from 1,000 listeners to 10 over the course of 2 months. You're like,
What
how did that
episode
happen?
is this on the podcast?
50, last one. So we broke a minute ago, 42 minutes ago. We did a pause. That would have been 48. This is 49, 59, 59. 58 and 59.
Damn. Cool.
See that?
Or did you actually start on episode 40?
I did. No, I started episode 1. You can go back. You can go back. That's the crazy thing. The first 4 though, they were Spotify had a feature where you could do it like a radio, like you were listening to the radio.
Oh,
And I
shit.
would come on, I'd give commentary like for 2 minutes, then I'd play a song. Then I would talk about that song, discuss how it relates to the next song. I'd play that one. I do the same thing. And so I think one of them, I talked about how I think Kashmir by Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin song sounded like the same riff as this Queens of the Stone Age song. Sounds like a variation on this riff from a Faith No More song. Sounds like a variation. And I had 4 songs that are clearly like, they're similar, like if you're looking music theory, but they're different executions, like entirely.
Yeah.
But you can kind of be like, oh, that's cool to see it's the same DNA. Like this is
That's
like
really cool.
a
Yeah.
monkey and this is a chimp. This is a gorilla, this is a baboon. You're like, oh, because that's the thing, like, people don't realize the difference between a chimp and a monkey. Chimps are like this thing. They're cute. They're like little guy. Monkeys eat chimps.
Monkey eat chimp.
I'm not kidding. Monkeys will get together and they'll grab chimps and they'll pull them in half alive.
Dude, they're scary, bro.
and
They're
eat
strong.
them as they're screaming. Yeah. So, Kobe, we're the monkeys.
We're the fucking monkeys, Connor.
Everyone else is chimps in this world.
I'm gonna eat the chimps. I'm gonna tear
gonna
them
eat the
apart.
chimps. Remember I said when you're talking to some people and then you just see them go, You see, there's like not much moving behind the eyes. You go, oh,
That's me today.
you're a chimp. Big chimp vibes.
I can't
Big
relate. I
chimp
don't
vibes,
go,
bro.
you're a chimp, bro.
Bro,
No.
did you ever walk up to a fella and go, nah, dude, you're a chimp. I'm a
Nah,
monkey.
dude. You're not
Dude,
a
I'm big
monkey,
monk
bro.
energy, dude. I'm big monk
You
energy,
are
bro.
not a monkey, bro.
Dude,
Stop talking
you
to
can't
me.
tell me I'm not a monkey. I identify as le monk. Dude, I'm the biggest dude. No, I'm not a gorilla though.
monk.
Like
Yeah.
once I'm the king of rock and roll and I literally have a castle and like $8 billion and like Ozzy Osbourne is trying to like get into my party, then I'll be like a gorilla. I'll be like an orangutan. And before that though, I'll be like the prince, like heir to the throne of
Orangutan's
rock and
cool.
roll.
I'll be cool being an orangutan. I don't
Dude,
want to be a king.
I could see you rocking it. Dude, my grandpa, straight up, he went to Australia. We have a photo of him next to a koala. It's like,
Wait, that's not an orangutan, though.
no, but like it's another like
Yeah.
animal. And my
Yeah.
dad or my grandpa looks spot on. He literally is a koala. You're like, it's weird. You're like, is
Koalas
this
are
legal?
dope.
Because I
No.
kind of like it. I'm kind of into it. Oh yeah. No, so
I,
that's
I fed a giraffe once. That was sick.
oh shoot.
Their animals are crazy, bro.
They're wild.
Yeah, they're
Dude,
wild.
my
Unless
neighbor
they're
is
not.
insane. My neighbor like grew up like Floribama Shore, like the panhandle of Florida. So he grew up just eating like alligators. And like they would just put a hammock up above the
Bro.
water on trees with the alligators below, and they would be getting even deadlier stuff is what they're catching with like their bare hands.
Yeah, Florida people are
They just
wild,
take a
bro.
knife and yeah, it's so funny because now he's like makes a ton of money at like a super like high tech, like a big tech company, like super nerdy, like makes a ton of money type stuff. He's like, yeah, dude, I think I'm just gonna start doing just some like he's like I'm gonna start teaching people because then on the weekends and just for fun, he takes time off work and does this crazy like wilderness explorer stuff, and like all of his
Yeah.
friends do it, and they all like make all their money just like podcasting, but really they're going out and like, yeah, we're gonna spend 18 days in the jungle with nothing but a hatchet, and we're gonna get monkey meat, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna bring people out and train them. Like he does stuff like that, like just casually, and he's like, yeah, I think I might want to start going full time on that with my friends, and we start, getting some film crews, do some TV shows.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
He's doing
when you
he's
talk
doing
about
the rock and roll of monkey catching.
do
Bring
rock and
back
roll
monkey
catching.
catching.
Dude, DIY. Well, that's my crazy like kind of thesis is like you're gonna be a session player, but like if you want like more work, it's like boom. Actually, no, it's really gonna be like if I have someone who's like me, right, who's a
Mhm.
musician, and they have a following, like that's the great bridge too. Is the guys who have 100,000 but never played in a band, never played a gig. Like I've played tons of gigs. That's the thing I'll tell you is like, I ought to tell you this. I ought to tell you this. Actually, 3, 2, 1.
Peace, love, and rock and roll, brother. Peace, love, and rock and roll.